Welcome to another episode. Anthony Peluso, CEO, founder, and God knows what of Wealth for Life, and Australian property expert. Thank you for watching. It's today, Tuesday, the 16th of April, 2019. We're getting ready for another Easter, and Jesus Christ, didn't we just? Actually, I shouldn't probably say Jesus Christ and Easter at the same time. For some, that's a good thing. For some, but anyway, that aside. It was just Christmas yesterday, wasn't it? So 2019 is moving very quickly. I wonder how people's New Year's resolutions have panned out. So I'll share my New Year's resolutions actually with you in next week's episode of Facebook Live. How's that? But what I wanted to talk about today was the pyramid of wealth, okay? There are 3 stages to wealth creation, okay? In fact, if you look at most areas of life, there's 3 stages to success, okay? But that's another subject for another time. But the 3 areas of wealth creation that I've put in place personally myself and that we educate and take our clients through are as follows. Number 1, okay? You need to set up a very strong foundation, okay? So the Egyptians understood this very, very well with the pyramids. And if you look at all their structures, they do follow a same or similar process to this, okay? Number 1, you need to have a very strong foundation, okay? Now, what do I mean by foundation? Okay, so before you start any investment strategy, you need to have a look at your risk management, okay? You need to have a look at what could possibly take you out. I'm refraining from using the word what could go wrong, but what could possibly take you out later on, okay? So this is where we start to look at the levels of responsibility we need to take throughout the next 10, 15, 20 years as we start our investment journey, okay? So you've got to set up a really good foundation. Look at all the risk that may exist. And what do I mean by risk? Okay, number 1, what if I lose my job, right? Number 2, what if I separate? Number 3, what if I get another job? Number 4, what if I can't find a tenant if I buy property? What if interest rates go up? What if the market crashes? And so on and so on and so on and so on, okay? You know, heaven forbid, what if I pass away? So these are the things that you need to put in place from day one, because what they actually do is they help you mitigate and help you handle any fear that you may have, okay? And putting this in place actually makes investing a lot more attractive for a lot of people, because we handle a lot of people's fears and concerns right up front. So when setting up a foundation, handle the risk management aspect of it. Then look at your legal structures, okay? Now, by legal structures, I'm talking about how do you protect your assets, okay? What are your purchasing entities? Are you buying in a corporation? Are you buying in an individual name? Are you buying as a joint venture partner? Are you buying tenants in common? You know, a self-managed super fund, a publicly listed company, or, you know, there are so many different ways that you can purchase real estate or any asset class for that matter. So you need to understand how best to do that and what that means and how that impacts you moving forward. What you also need to have is a mastermind team, okay? So I keep talking about mastermind teams, and, you know, you look at anyone that's successful in any field, right? And they have an amazing team around them, whether it be a tennis player, whether it be, you know, someone, who's a health freak. You know, look at most people who've got great bodies and do really well in the gym, right? They usually have a nutrition person with them. They usually have a personal trainer. So no success is created without a really good team around you, okay? And I'm very privileged and very blessed to have an amazing team of experts around me, okay? I call them my mastermind team. These are the people that I go to when I want to look at something that I haven't done before, when I want to get advice in you know, very high level advanced advice in the areas of taxation and law, finance, construction, building. So I've got a really good team of people around me. So if there's something I don't know, right, believe me, any question anyone ever asks me, I'll be able to answer it myself or come back to you in 10 minutes, okay? That's the access I've got. That's the team I've got around me, okay? Very, very important, because as you grow, your level of success is going to be limited based on how good or how much of a team that you actually have around you, okay? So if you're looking to play big or play a big game in life, you need a really good team of people around you. It took me 6 months actually when I first started to set up my mastermind team. Okay, and I'm happy to say that a lot of the people that I brought on board 20 years ago are still with me today. Okay, so and then you've got to look at areas like tax minimization. I've got to be careful. Nobody wants to hear the word tax minimization. For all you accountants and ATO viewers out there, tax structuring, okay? Listen, there are a lot of advantages that are made available to you by the Australian government, okay, that are 100% legal that you should investigate and use to your advantage, okay? The reason they are there are for you to use them to your advantage, okay? Legally, okay? So understand how to handle your tax. So you're going to make money in this hand and give it away just as quick in this hand, okay? Stack the odds in your favor. Utilize the laws to your advantage, okay? So, and then look at setting up things like ABN numbers, tax file numbers, whether a self-managed super fund is the right thing for you. Set yourself up with a really good structure, a really good foundation, right? It's no different to building a home. When you're building a home, what goes down first? The slab, right? Then you put your frame up and so on and so on and so on. But you can't put a house on nothing, okay? You need a really good structure, a really good foundation. Because if you try to put up a frame and walls and you know, flooring without the foundation being strong, the house is going to collapse. And even, you know, when you look at a lot of houses these days, if they start to crack, it's usually because the foundation isn't so strong, okay? Life works in exactly the same way. Be it in your relationships, be it in your marriage, be it, you know, in your workplace, in your career, you need to set up a really, really good foundation, because if you're looking to build on that, it needs to be able to support and hold what it is that you're going to build on top of it, okay? So, number one, set up a really, really good foundation, okay? Number two, once you've done that, and in the foundation stage, by the way, is where you do all your goal setting and planning, okay? This is where you start, you know, you start how you're going to start, how you're going to hold, and how you're going to exit, okay? Then the next stage is what we call the accumulation phase, okay? So this is where you start to, you know, purchase your assets, invest, stack the assets on top of one another, and you can go really, really, really hard and really, really fast, or go at a pace that's suitable to you based on what it is you're trying to achieve and in what time frame, because your foundation is now strong, right? It's solid, it won't crumble, it won't crack. So you can just start accumulating the assets on top of it. Let me give you an example. So there are a lot of clients who will actually set up what's called a trust structure, okay, which is another purchasing entity that you can use to invest in, right, or to acquire assets in, and will continue to just put all their assets in a particular type of trust structure, okay. So they pay the cost up front of setting up that trust structure, and then they're protected and get many advantages moving forward under this purchasing entity, and they will use this same entity to purchase again and again and again and again and again, okay? And no matter how many times they purchase, that entity remains strong and looks after them, okay? It supports them in terms of where they want to go. So foundation needs to be strong. Then you start the accumulation phase of your investment strategy, where you start to then acquire the assets that you decided upon from the get-go that'll help you achieve your financial goal, okay? So once we've got the accumulation phase, at this point you should know, if you're working with the right company like us, you should know when to stop, okay? Meaning you've achieved your goal, okay? Now once you've achieved your goal, there's no need for you to continue to accumulate. So what you then do is what we call the preservation stage of wealth building, okay? This is where you preserve what you've actually created, okay? You hold on to your position. And this is where we start in our organisation anyway. We start a debt reduction and a debt elimination strategy with you, okay? Because the whole point of building wealth is that at some point you want to be debt free, okay? At some point, okay? You've got to be careful that you don't do that too early or too late. Okay, so once we've set up the really right foundation, it's strong, it's solid, we stack the assets on top, right? And once we've achieved our goal, and we say, okay, we've got enough assets right now that are going to appreciate at this rate, are going to cash flow us this type of yield, this type of return, okay, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, however long, now we hold. Okay, we hold, we preserve what we've created, and at a point in the future, we start to eliminate and reduce and eventually eliminate all debts. Okay. Now, if you follow this pattern, if you follow these stages correctly, there is no reason why you don't get to a predictable outcome that was established day one. Okay? There is no guesswork in investing, and if there is, you're not investing, you're speculating. Okay? I talk about this in my workshops quite a bit, actually. Make sure you understand the difference between investing and speculating. Okay? Investing should be able to give you a predictable outcome. You should be able to sit here today and know exactly where you're going to be in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, right? That's proper investing, okay? That's not guesswork, okay? Now, if you're speculating, and believe me, there are a lot of people out there that speculate, although they think they're investing, they're actually doing nothing more than speculating. How do I know? They don't know what their exit strategy is. They still can't tell me where they're going to be financially in 20 years' time. If you don't know, if you're an investor and you don't know where you're going to be financially in the next 20 years, I've got news for you. You're not an investor. You're a speculator, okay? Because you're hoping, okay? There's no plan in place here. You're relying on hope. You're relying on maybe. You're relying on forces outside of your control. And you know what happens when you hand control over to something else other than you, okay? It's trouble. So an investor always knows their start game, their middle, their holding game, and their exit strategy. It's like a game of chess, right? So they know when to start, they know when to hold, and they know when to get out, okay? And they get a predictable outcome, okay? There's no guesswork, there's no mystery. You talk to our clients, one thing they'll tell you is, yeah, we know exactly where we're going to end up financially when we work with Wealth for Life. There is no guesswork, there is no mystery. And there's people out there that will tell you, but there's so many variables in the market. Bullshit. They don't know what they're doing, okay? We understand the game of money, we understand the game of real estate, we understand the game of investing, okay? We've been doing it long enough. We've got a we have a truckload of results.
If you cut that, I can put a transition in there.
Yeah.
So just take it from
yeah.
part 1, 2, 3.
We have a truckload of results, okay, that can back up what we say. So understand that when you're investing, you should be able to get a predictable outcome, okay? So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. If you're sitting here at the age, say, I don't know, 40, and you want to play, excuse me, cut from there again. So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. If you're sitting here, say at the age of 40, and you want to play the game of investing for the next, say, 20 years, from today, where you sit today, you should be able to calculate exactly where you're going to be financially in the next 20 years. And it could be something like, in 20 years' time, when I stop working, I want to have a cash flow goal of, say, $200,000 a year, passive income for the rest of my life, indexed with CPI. There should be no reason why you can't calculate something like that from your starting position, okay? And achieve it. Now, obviously the figure depends on a number of different things, but again, it shouldn't be a mystery, okay? Because you'll know from the start, or you should know from the start, if it's something that's achievable. And if it's not, move the variables around, okay? The amount of the growth, the appreciation on your assets, right? The cash flow from your assets, and your time frame. And the number of transactions, okay? So they're the 4 variables that you need to be able to move around. Are my assets appreciating at a rate that I need them to appreciate at? Great, they are, good. What about my cash flow? Am I getting, the yield that I should be getting? Great. What about the number of transactions? Do I need to do more transactions, right, to achieve what I want to achieve in the time frame allocated, okay? And am I using a realistic time frame? Am I estimating the correct amount of effort involved to get this done? So you can move either one of those 4 parameters, those variables around to help you achieve your goal, okay? And not be in mystery. It's actually not the topic I wanted to talk about today, but it's very important to understand, okay, that a safe, sound, and a solid investment strategy should be able to give you exactly a predictable outcome, okay? Anything other than that, believe me, you're speculating, okay? Or you're basically dropping your level of responsibility in the area of money and investment. All right? But come in and have a chat to us, because our system does work. Okay? It doesn't mean you're going to actually achieve the goal you want to achieve unless you're flexible with some things like time frame, income, capital appreciation, cash flow, number of transactions. There are variables. You may come in and say, geez, Anthony, I wanted to achieve a lot more than that. We move things around to help you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, okay? All right, so thanks, guys. Thanks once again for listening to us on this Tuesday on Ask Anthony Facebook Live. We really appreciate all the questions that you send in. Give us a call, Australia, 1300 79 3877, or log into wealthforlife.com.au. We'd love to hear from you. And you know, if you're looking to manage your money better in 2019 and make sure your 2019 isn't the same as your 2018, come in and have a chat to us, okay? Like, so many clients right now are taking advantage of the current financial landscape, okay? The smart ones are actually using it to their advantage, okay? What do I mean by that? Come in and give us a call, right? We'd love to have a chat to you. Until next Tuesday, enjoy investing.